Hey everybody, Dave here from Dave's WordPress, and I want to talk to you today about the right way to back up a WordPress website. And stay tuned because I'm going to share a lot of information that a lot of you don't have and a way to get more information about this very specific topic. So to begin, let's look at a website, and to break it down, essentially a website in WordPress is the WordPress software itself. Then you add in your content, your theme, the text, the images, the files, the things that make your website unique to you. And then of course you have the WordPress data. Now all of this has to sit on a physical computer, and that's all hosting is, right? It's somebody else's physical computer that you're renting space on that's connected to the internet. And in that hardware, you've got your traditional memory and disk storage and a network card, right? Same as your PC. And in that server, or in that hosting software, you have the ability to host up websites. You have the ability to manage files. And you have a database. And all of this is where the WordPress site maps to. So the WordPress gets hosted by the hosting software, and all of your content, your images, and your text file is handled by the software on the server that allows you to manage your files, and the WordPress data is stored in the, server's database. And so when you back up, a lot of the backup solutions don't back up WordPress itself. They just back up your content and your text and your image files as well as the database, but they don't back up the WordPress website. And so the chances of restoring this, if the entire server goes bust, it's hard because you have to essentially build WordPress from scratch and put everything back, and it's very laborious, very time consuming. Other solutions just back up your content, your text, and your image files. They don't back up the database, they don't back up the WordPress, and so these aren't really effective. This is just simply backing up your files, okay? And that's all it is. It's not going to help you in the event of a disaster. A true and real solution for backing up a WordPress website must get all three components: your WordPress software, your content, your images, your text files, and your database. So it's like the holy grail or the trinity here of WordPress. If you're not getting all three, you're not really getting a good, proper, and full backup. So let's look at this a little bit further. And we want to talk about restoring a website and why you might restore it, right? So things that happen that can go wrong that lead you to needing to restore a website is because it either got hacked, somebody made a bad mistake, or relationships regarding your WordPress site went south. And so under hacked, this usually happens because you've neglected to do your updates. Another one is an improper configuration of WordPress, or you didn't install it properly. Human mistakes is just a big oops, and when relationships go bad, those are typically with the hosting provider. Maybe it's an independent person, much like myself, and maybe there's a personality conflict and you can't get your site from them because, they're just being a bad person. And maybe you have a falling out with your designer or the developer or the person administering your site, and they just mess it up. In which case now the server, the host is bad, and this is a problem because this is the worst case scenario. When you have to move your website to another host provider, another server, a server migration. And this is not an easy thing, and this is where a lot of people in the worst case scenario get really tripped up because you've got to move and be able to move your WordPress software, the text, the files, the images. Again, that trifecta thing I was talking about earlier. And that means that the software may or may not be different underlying in the system. The file management system may be slightly different. It's definitely a different database server. And the hardware is physically different. It's not the same. So why is this a problem? It's the configuration. Even if you restore everything, the problem is that the files on disk have configuration files. And inside of the database, there is certain settings that go to the configuration of the WordPress website. So even in the best case scenario, you can still restore it, but the site still doesn't work right, or it doesn't quite work because the configuration data is now all different. And if you don't know how to change this, then it's going to be a mess and your site's going to be a disaster, unfortunately. So what do you need? You need a single backup solution that is free of cost, that will back up your WordPress website, that will get all of the files and content images, that will back up your database, that's easy to restore. And in the event you need to do a migration, you have a migration wizard to walk you through that, and it will catch all of those detecting of configuration changes and suggest and make them for you. So this is the path that is for the advanced features if you decide to upgrade and don't want to deal with just the free. Maybe you need additional features. Well, maybe those features include scheduling for automated backups. You may or might need a sophisticated off-site or off-website storage cloud backup. That means that the backup files aren't being stored locally on your website, because if the website goes down and your backups are on that website, you're in trouble because, well, you don't have it off of your server, right? And you can also download it on the free version. But the other thing too, though, to consider is, maybe you've got a real advanced administrator, or maybe you are an advanced administrator and you want to programmatically control this through APIs. Well, this is another reason you might want to do the upgrade. So now you may be asking, okay, how much is this going to cost me? Well, it's €50 a year, and it's an annual paid subscription. And I personally can get you 20% off of that with this discount code. Now, I don't make any money. This is not an affiliate program. This is just me giving you good, solid information. All right, now the question is, what is it and how do you get it? Well, that's pretty simple. Send me an email at davidtsoden@gmail.com. Be sure to put into the subject line in all caps and nothing else, no spaces, WP-backup, all caps. If you do that, my autoresponder will send you the link to go get the free software, or you can upgrade immediately. That's it for this video. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.